I read in the last 3 days, it's hard to believe this could be true, that the Biden administration auctioned off portions of the unfinished border wall at bargain basement prices. Is that true?
Yes. I actually had a conversation with Senator Lindsey Graham 2 days ago. Someone needs to take some action because this is products that the taxpayers already paid for, and they're going to auction it off. And now, Texas talk about buying it back. Shouldn't have to buy it back. We bought it once before, right? This administration's out. They're out in a couple more weeks. Why would they continue to set us up for failure? That's what they're trying to do, right? President Biden signing all these executive orders and want to sell the border product. I thought the American people on election day give this country a clear mandate. They want a secure border. But this administration is going to stop at, they won't stop at anything to slow us down. It's not going to slow us down. We're going to get that border wall finished, but the mere stupidity of selling this stuff on pennies on the dollar. Every taxpayer should be.
What's an act of hate toward the country? Of course.
Well, they obviously, I've said it many times. They hate Trump more than they love their country.
For sure. And I think they hate the country more than they hate Trump. Even he represents the country to them, the old country that they tried to change with immigration. Do you know Mayorkas?
I know him.
How would you assess him?
I used to respect him under President Obama. I got a Presidential Rank Award under President Obama because I oversaw the removal of, well over a million aliens during that 3-year period. Mayorkas actually accompanied me on operations in New York City, targeting criminal aliens and illegal aliens, both. Jay Johnson approved the family operation because a lot of families were coming across during the Obama administration. And I told Jay Johnson, look, 9 out of 10 of these families are going to be ordered removed. Are we going to remove them? He said, absolutely. Jay Johnson stood by that. Alejandro Mayorkas went on operation with us. He backed me up on a lot. The main thing we disagreed on is the transgender policy where you wanted special treatment for transgenders in ICE detention. I was ordered to sign that policy, and that. What
kind of special treatment?
Making sure they're identified as being a transgender, they're protected in our facilities, and separated and get medical attention, whether it's hormone therapy or whatever it was. And
so he wanted the U.S. government to pay for hormone therapy?
Yeah. And we got in a huge argument over that, and I was ordered to sign the memo, and that's where we had a falling out. But
do you have any? Why would he want? I mean, first of all, how many transsexual illegal aliens are there?
You'd be surprised how many we run across, and they just they want a certain protections for them in our facilities. Well, Alejandro Mayorkas went on operation with me. He shook hands of officers who were enforcing the immigration law. I remember we went to New York City on a huge operation, arrested a lot of illegal aliens. And when he was nominated to be secretary, I thought, okay, we're in the middle of this crisis again, right? He knows how we stopped it. We stopped it by building detention facilities, including family residential centers, the so-called cages, right? He knew how we stopped it. We stopped by building more detention facilities, detaining people, making them have a hearing, because if you're in detention, you have a hearing within like 35 days. 9 out of 10 lost. We put them in an airplane, send them home, then board numbers tanked. So I'm thinking, okay, he knows how to fix it. He might be able to do this job. He got into the job. He did a complete 180. I don't recognize him anymore. He's about not enforcing the law. One of his first instructions to ICE is that being in the country illegally on its own is not enough for you to go make an arrest. You got to wait till they're convicted of a serious criminal violation.
How can a federal administrator ignore federal law? Isn't that unconstitutional? Why can't he be arrested for that?
Well, it's illegal. I mean, the Fifth Circuit judge, federal judge in the Fifth Circuit said not only are they ignoring the law, they're actually violating the law. Again, that's when we need to hold these people accountable in the incoming administration. I believe they violated the law. And
the fact that Congress never did anything about that is really telling.
Well, that's, they went through the impeachment proceedings, and I said at the time that I think we had 5 or 6 Republican congressmen that didn't vote for impeachment. I couldn't believe it. And I thought they lost the right to be a congressman at that point. I mean, if they can impeach President Trump for making a phone call, you can't impeach Alejandro Mayorkas for what he did to this border, the biggest national security vulnerability this nation's ever seen. Look, me and Christopher Wray, I'm not a friend of his. I don't really respect the man much, but he agrees with me that the border has become the biggest vulnerability this nation's ever seen. He sees more red flags than ever before, and they continue with the open border, even to this day after the election. Now they're going to sell border wall material that we're going to need in day one we're getting in there. The illegal behavior, the treasonous behavior from this administration has not stopped.
When phone companies say they're selling something for free, they really mean see the fine print. You're going to need thick glasses to read it. Once you read it, you realize the product is not free at all, far from it. To qualify for those programs, you'll need to check all kinds of predetermined boxes that are often expensive. It's a scam. Don't fall for it. Pure Talk is a better option. Get a brand new iPhone 14 plus unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data, and more for $50 a month. Free? No. Real? Yes. It's transparent and the value is obvious. So half the price of the big corporations, you get a new iPhone powered by America's most dependable 5G network. Go to puretalk.com/Tucker and you save an additional 50% off on your first month. Pure Talk, America's wireless company. So let me ask you about Adams. I talked to him the other day. He seemed pretty reasonable to me. I don't agree with him on, a lot, but on the other hand, he didn't seem crazy. And my impression is that he was indicted on what seemed like pretty silly charges by the feds because he complained about immigration in New York. I think that's what he thinks happened. Do you think that's possible?
Oh, I absolutely do, yes. And when I sat down with him, it was all about public safety. That other stuff never came up. The cop in him came out. And look, I've been calling him out for 2 years, saying he forgot what it's like to be a cop and became a politician. He's not helping with this crisis.
I agree.
But when he reached out to me, I sat down with him. I saw first time ever, I saw the career cop come out and him say, look, this shouldn't be controversial at all, Mr. Homan. I want to work with you on this. He goes down, we're not going to be immigration officers. I'm not going to help you round up illegal aliens. And I said, I don't want you to be an immigration officer. I want cops to work with cops to remove public safety threats. He gets it. And he says he's going to take some executive actions. And so I hope he does, because that's going to make New York City much safer, not only for the community, but for my officers. Yeah. My biggest threat is you're going to force us in the community, arrest bad guys when we could arrest them in a safety and security of a jail. That puts our guys at grave risk. So, and same with the Border Patrol agents. The criminal cartel is going to be put out of business by President Trump, which means the violence is going to rise on the southern border.
Well, that's right. And it's also, if you think about it, and I know you have thought about it, I think it's safer for everyone to have your guys arresting illegals in the Sonoran Desert than in Times Square. I mean, that's scary in a crowded city.
Right. And these men and women, they're going to put their lives on the line every day. And I can't believe any politician, left, right, middle, would want to put these officers at risk when there's a better way to do this. When I first started in this game back in the 1980s, I never heard a word of sanctuary city. We got in every county jail. Everybody worked. I can't believe we're at the time now. My father was a cop. My grandfather was a cop. Your
grandfather was a cop?
Yeah. I knew I was going to be a cop.
Where were they cops?
In upstate New York. So in my day, cops were respected. Police officers were respected. Now you fast forward now, and these politicians, if you enforce the law, all of a sudden you become the bad guy. And if you break the law, you're the victim. That's truly the way it is in some of these cities.
It's weird that Republicans put up with that acts of insurrection. I mean, they've been yammering about the insurrection of January 6th, but a sanctuary city is a bold, unequivocal move toward insurrection. You're saying I'm not obeying federal law. And no one did anything about it. They made fun of them on Fox News, but they didn't send the 101st Airborne. I don't understand why.
President Trump's going to take a hard stance. I think he'll take one of the things, take their federal funding away. I think that's going to bring a lot of people to the table because they need that money. And plus, I think it gets down to if they impede, if they knowingly harbor, I think we need to, prosecute members. And, I said this when I was ICE director, that they ought to need to be held accountable, and DOJ needs to look at criminal prosecution. Of course, the media went crazy. Homan's calling to lock up politicians. What I called for is DOJ. If I'm not an attorney, but I, as an agent, many years ago, I've arrested United States citizens for knowingly harboring, concealing an illegal alien in their home. I arrested a U.S. citizen for harboring, concealing an illegal alien in a place of business. If I can arrest a U.S. citizen for violating those crimes, why can't I arrest a mayor or a governor who's given his staff explicit instructions to impede us and to hide from us. I mean, the Mayor Adams came around and said he would have a police force at the city boundaries preventing us from coming in, right? That was one of the comments he made. Now, he's walked them back because he made a statement he's willing to go to jail, and I responded, well, I'm willing to put you in jail if that's what it comes to. I'm not looking for a fight with these people, but I'm not going to run away from one either. We're going to enforce this law. We're going to do what the American people wants us to do. We're going to enforce the law. We're going to run this deportation operation. If you don't want to help, get the hell out of the way. But if you impede us, then we need to prosecute these people and send a message. This is no longer acceptable to anybody. Should never have been acceptable, but under the Trump administration, we're not playing that game.
Yeah, because the country, it's not even about, on some level, immigration. It's about holding the country together. If parts of the country decide we're just not following the federal laws because we don't feel like it, then how is it a country?
Laken Riley would be alive today if we had a better relationship in New York City. She was arrested. The killer was arrested in New York City for injury to a child. If we had the relationship we used to have, they would have turned him over to ICE. ICE would have detained him and removed him.
Yeah.
But instead, he went to Georgia and killed the girl. And, you know, if President Trump was president, he wouldn't even be in the United States. He'd be in Mexico, and the Remain in Mexico program would have never been released into the United States. Given a free hotel, given a monthly stipend for food and expenses.
Free cell phone. Airplane tickets.
It's just incredible where we're at today, but I got full confidence in myself and in President Trump, and I'm working very close with Steve Miller, brilliant, the architect of the most successful border policy this country ever had.
What's his position going to be?
He's the Deputy Chief of Staff.
Yep.
I'm a senior advisor to the President, term border czar. Not my term, but that's what they're nicknamed it. But I can guarantee you, Tucker, and to your listeners, this border czar is going to do a hell of a lot better than the last border czar. I've already been to the border 3 times, and I'm not even in office yet.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.